Welcome to Press Pass. I'm Mary Louise Cook. This is Kelly Saco, and I'm super excited to have her for this first episode. Being a South Florida native, I grew up looking up to Kelly. I remember going to Marlins games and seeing her, and I was like, your job is so cool. And I didn't know that it was something that I could do at the time, but you were probably the first person that I ever met, that I ever saw up close, that got the wheels turning in my head, that made me realize that something like this was attainable. When, for you, did the wheels start to turn that this was something that you could do?
I'll tell you this, middle school, high school Kelly would have been terrified of this. Absolutely terrified. It was never something that was on my radar. I got a scholarship to play softball at Syracuse, and it was actually my mother who said, hey, listen, I know you're not really set on what you want to do, and I know that you want to be in sports. Syracuse has a really good broadcast program. You should give it a shot. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, like talking on camera, that is absolutely terrifying. That sounds terrible. It is such a difficult college to get into. So I'm going to do it. It was just the challenge of it and getting out of my comfort zone. And then, of course, at the very base of it was being able to stay in sports. It was all I've ever known. It was all I've ever loved. So it was really my mother who put the idea in my head.
I know that after college, you were able to come back to South Florida, where you're from, and you started as a production assistant, right?
That is correct.
How important is that experience behind the camera? Because I'm sure so many times girls are reaching out to you and they're like, hey, I want to do what you do. I want to be in front of the camera. But how important is it to have an idea of how things work behind the scenes as well?
I think it's huge, honestly. If I was in charge and I decided the way everything went, I would say everyone should start behind the camera, whether it's editing, whether it's producing. It helps you move forward quicker, I think, too. And also it gives you a lot of appreciation for all the people who work behind the scenes, who everybody at home aren't seeing, like the people who are really doing everything behind the scenes and behind the curtain to put us on air. I learned so much. I would do it 100 times over that way. I started carrying camera cables for the Miami Heat. That was like one of my first jobs as a production assistant. So it was literally my job to chase the camera guy during timeouts. And I'm like holding the wires and making sure over, under, and I'm like not tripping players.
How do you think that your experiences as an athlete working together towards a common goal, working with so many different types of personalities, helps you at a clubhouse where, honestly, I would say the number one part of our job is relationships and just getting to know so many different people with different personalities, right?
One of the things I love most about sports, it's the most beautiful metaphor for life, isn't it? Right? You learn so much as an athlete about life. You learn about working with different personalities, working with different people, and all working towards a common goal. Because at the end of the day, that's all we're all looking to do the same exact thing. I always say this too. I said, listen, I'm never going to pretend that I know what it's like to be a Major League Baseball player. I was never a Major League Baseball player. I'm never going to pretend, but I played softball at a high level. And because I had that experience, I have a little bit of an idea of what it's like, a little bit of what these guys are going through when it comes to the pressure and when it comes to just the everyday grind of the season. And I think that that's definitely helped me. I had posted this on Instagram. It's so funny, for National Women's Girls and Women's Sports Day. I never knew back then, right? I never knew as a little kid that all those experiences I had on all those different teams and playing all those different sports, what it was actually preparing me for. And it really did all lead up to this. And I'm just so grateful.
It's very much a grind of a season for the athletes. And I have to say that being up close and now working in Major League Baseball, I have a whole new appreciation because I feel tired and I talk for a living. So I cannot even begin to imagine, but I always appreciated it from afar, but it's a whole other thing to appreciate it when you are in the nitty gritty. You travel a lot with the team. How do you keep yourself grounded in the midst of not only the 162, but spring training? We're here in Jupiter and I know you guys have started. So how do you keep yourself grounded?
It's a balance. It really is. I started to travel part-time in 22 and full-time in 23. And what I really learned in 22 is, oh my goodness, like this is very hard. It's very hard to be away from your family. It's very hard to, stick to the person that you are outside of baseball because you never really have time for that. Like, what are the things that I love? What are the things that I enjoy? And how can I continue to do those things throughout the season? So it's like silly things like, I love to read. So I started a book club with my friends, and it was something where I'm like, okay, I'm able to see my friends once a month. We find that like 1 or 2 days that I have like off at home to see them and catch up with people who have nothing to do with baseball. I bring a book wherever I go. So I read on the plane. I like to draw. So I do those things. And I try to find moments to get back to the person I am outside of sports, outside of the world that we live in, which is a wonderful world, but the grind of it every single day, it can wear on you a lot too. So I make time to, I look at my schedule, I literally pencil in, okay, you're going to catch up with this friend outside of baseball. You're going to do this that has nothing to do with baseball.
There's a quote that I heard once, and it was know who you are outside of the roles that you play in other people's lives. And I think really, especially when it comes to what we do for work, especially in a baseball season that can kind of be all consuming, that is very, very important. Yeah. What are you reading right now, or what do you like to read?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I just finished, I had started this one book years ago when it first came out, The Last Thing He Told Me.
Okay.
And then the sequel just came out a couple months ago, and it's called The First Time I Saw Him, and I finished it in less than 24 hours.
Ooh,
and I am a slow reader. So
really?
That is saying something. Hooked on that. We have another book that we're reading in our book club called, I think it's something along the lines of like A Great Big Beautiful Life. I just completely butcher it every single time. So I'm reading that right now.
When I saw Kelly approaching me from afar and I saw her outfit, I was like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So can we please get the outfit deets? Because if you all see me wearing this in spring training, head to toe, no, it was Kelly Saco inspired.
Okay, first and foremost, I was the number one fan of like dad shoes coming back into style. I'm like, I am in.
Yes.
110%.
Yes.
With the New Balances.
I'm about
Aritzia. Love me some Aritzia.
So cute.
Aritzia shorts. And this is just something off the rack from Marshall's.
Okay, love.
It's just spring training. It could be a little tough, right? Because 1 minute it's raining. I've got my raincoat over there.
Raining this morning.
Next minute, exactly. It's a little chilly. And then it like the sun comes out to 110. So it's like figuring out.
What do I do?
Okay, what do I do? But I literally told you when you walked up, I'm like, this whole fit.
Thanks.
Obsessed. And it is part of our job. It is. We have to dress in certain ways and be presentable, and you crushed it. And already, okay, you're going to hear it here first. This will be my color for opening day.
Ferrari red.
Ferrari red. Obviously, I need a little MLB mic. Will look
I'm
really
telling
good.
you, it goes so well. It's like a little match made in heaven. But Kelly, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's so nice to be out here in Jupiter. The sun is out now after the little rain. I woke up to the sound of rain this morning. I was like, okay, South Florida on point. But I can't wait to see you in San Diego whenever you come out and catch up then. But
thanks so much for having me and finding a different breakfast spot.
Yeah, I know. Breakfast Republic downtown and Gaslamp did shut down, and that was where we met up last year. So if you have any breakfast suggestions for where we should hang out,
yes, please do. To eat,
please, we do. But yeah, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Can I give you a hug? Awesome.